urban legends, ghost stories, folklore, unique history, and whatever makes your town unique. We call them hometown tales because every town has one.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Hometown Tales vidcast. I am Gene. We've got a good segment coming up for you, which some of you may have seen on our TV show or maybe on our website. As you know, Brian grew up in New Mexico, and growing up there, he found a ton of hometown tales. One of the best ones is clearly the legend of La Llorona, which is a tale that permeates throughout all of South America as well as the southwest United States. So this is the Santa Fe version of La Llorona, and another South American tale is one that we talk about in the podcast constantly, the chupacabra. And while I was here taping this, I was able to catch a chupacabra right here. Make sure you check us out, hometowntales.com. Feel free to purchase our lovely new Eat More pork roll t-shirts. Legend of La Llorona next, Hometown Tales.
Mis niños, ¿dónde están mis niños?
You ask anyone who lived in Santa Fe as a little kid, and they'll tell you, maybe shyly at first, that they were afraid of the dark. Even today, nights in Santa Fe give me the chills. Why? Simple. There's something out there in the night. The nights are full of old spirits. And this tale, the legend of La Llorona, filled my nights and my mind with fear.
The story that I remember most is about the Santa Fe River, that the La Llorona would frequent that area, and mainly in the eastern part of town.
There are so many versions of the tale. While shooting arroyos in the Santa Fe area, we met a local resident who, of course, gave us his own version.
Born and raised in Santa Fe, going out as a teenager, La Llorona was always on our minds. We grew up with being told that she had been stabbed with a pair of scissors.
As the legend goes, La Llorona was a widow with 2 children. She was so intent on finding a new husband that she neglected her children, spending most of her nights in gambling halls and saloons of Santa Fe, intent on finding a man to care for her. It was during one such night that her children were kidnapped and brutally murdered by Comanches. They were drowned and thrown in a nearby irrigation ditch, never to be found by La Llorona again. And so her wails, "Ay, mi niños, ¿dónde están mis niños?" or "My children, where are my children?" are always heard on nights when she is sighted.
You won't catch me near the rivers at night. Llorona was a beautiful young woman who lived in a small little town somewhere in northern New Mexico. One day this handsome man comes strolling through town and sets his sights on her. They get married, and he's good looking, but he's not a very good man, doesn't take very good care of her. They have children. He's always running around with other women. He comes home one night and has another woman with him and says, "I've only come to see my children because I don't care about you, I only care about my children." The Llorona decides that the only way she can get even with him is to take the only thing from him that means anything, and that's his children.
La Llorona drowns her own children. Then, realizing what she's done, she jumps into the Santa Fe River to her own death. Now her spirit roams the riverside in search of her children. And in Cindy Pacheco's version of the tale, any child will do.
So late in the evening, all the girls were inside the tent, and we started hearing the thumping on the back of the tent. And so the first thing that we do is look at each other and say, "It's the Llorona." So we went outside to look around, and when we turned around, she was standing behind us. She was really tall, but very thin, with very, very long fingers. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I couldn't scream. I was scared to death. And she put one of those long, bony arms on Tila's shoulder and the other on mine. And she says, "Aquí están mis hijos. Here are my children." I closed my eyes, prepared to die, started the Our Father, the Hail Mary, every single prayer that I had ever learned in catechism that I could remember. But when I opened my eyes, she was gone.
Some believe the legend of La Llorona is nothing other than a practical method of keeping children out of the arroyos. In the rainy month of August, dry riverbeds can fill up in seconds with a flash flood, leaving anyone in them doomed. Whether the tormented soul of a dead woman or the creative admonition of a caring mother, Tale of La Llorona has kept my friends and me far away from the rivers of my hometown.